no doubt. If Elder Scrolls 6 is bad, or like Starfield, I hope Todd has a bunker somewhere to hide in. I have no doubt that it will end up being pretty meh. People will be super stoked on it, but again, like, Fallout 4 felt really bad in comparison to The Witcher 3, because people were hoping for RPG mechanics, people were hoping for really impressive graphics, scope, scale, tech, all of that. Witcher 3 had all of it. Fallout 4 experimented with some of it, but didn't do any of it as well. So it looked really bad in comparison. The Elder Scrolls 6 will be coming out in the same rough time frame as The Witcher 4. And I swear on all that is good and holy that I would bet my life savings on The Witcher 4 making the Elder Scrolls 6 look like a free-to-play mobile game. Like, it will make it look ridiculous. Like, not only do they have all of Epic Games and their Unreal Engine team behind them for The Witcher 3, or for The Witcher 4, but, I mean, it's CDPR. Like, they know what they're doing. If Elder Scrolls 6 is bad, or like Starfield, I hope Todd has a bunker somewhere to hide in. I have no doubt that it will end up being pretty meh.
So Luke Stevens brings up a lot of really good points here. First about Elder Scrolls 6, and then the comparison towards Witcher. I'll be honest, the Witcher and the Elder Scrolls comparison, I think, is going to be a little bit of a apples and oranges comparison, at least for me. I also haven't played enough Witcher to like really be super knowledgeable on it. I think the CDPR praise is, I think it's mostly well founded, but at the same time, all of our heroes turn into enemies eventually here, and I can't imagine that CDPR is going to just continue on this run. Obviously, we saw a bunch of problems with Cyberpunk. It has since gotten better, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see for Witcher. However, I do know, and I do feel a lot more comfortable talking about Elder Scrolls, and I do think that he is making a lot of good points that I just don't think Elder Scrolls 6 is going to live up to the hype. I think Bethesda is heading towards ruin in this, and I think it's almost like a George R.R. Martin with Game of Thrones, right? Where like the reason why we haven't gotten the final 2 books of Game of Thrones is because the hype has gotten so real that he just knows that he can't deliver on it. That he just knows that he's kind of written himself into a corner, and he's waited too long, and he's just gonna leave it to be an unfinished series, because to finish it now would likely just bring on disappointment. I think Bethesda is heading into the same route with this. The only reason why they have to deliver is for better or for worse, because the shareholders need them to. And so that doesn't mean it's going to be a good game. It just means that there's going to be a game that eventually comes out. As we already know, it's being used by the same engine that they built Starfield with, and Starfield was just devoid of life. It just wasn't as interesting as people needed it to be, and I just don't really see Elder Scrolls doing any better. You know, we've now waited longer than any other sequel for them. It's been over a decade. I was in college when Skyrim came out. And to be honest, Skyrim had much flashier mechanics, looked much more visually appealing, but it was really the biggest attachment in my mind from a lot of the RPG elements that made Elder Scrolls a fun game. So I imagine that just like all other AAA studios right now, they're going to go for big, flashy graphics to sacrifice true elements. So I imagine, if I had to guess right now, Elder Scrolls 6 will probably have amazing combat, hopefully much better magic mechanics than Elder Scrolls 5 did, but otherwise I think the storytelling is going to be gone. I think a lot of the choice mechanics, things like that really make RPGs good, and just the overall quality of storytelling, I just don't think it's going to be there. We didn't see it in Skyrim. They've had 10 years to build on it. They just started early development. There's just no way. I just don't see it. Well, hopefully this take sits well with you guys. As always, this is Last Brohican, and take it easy.